There's a lot of different ways to implement a planned gift. It's good to know how that works and to be able to talk with donors about the different options that they have. It's not only a way for you to leave a legacy, it's not only a way for you to feel confident that you're going to continue to support the causes that you love, but there can be some great tax benefits behind it.
Hi, I'm Jeff Holden. Welcome to the Nonprofit Podcast Network. Our purpose and passion is to highlight a nonprofit organization in each weekly episode, giving that organization an opportunity to tell their story in their words to better inform and educate the respective communities they serve, as well as provide one more tool for them to share their message to constituents and donors. Our goal is to help build stronger communities through shared voices and to both encourage and support the growth of local nonprofit organizations through podcasting. Thanks to our founding partners for their foresight in helping us transform the way conversations start. CapTrust, fiduciary advice for endowments and foundations. Runyon Saltzman Incorporated, RSE, marketing, advertising, and public relations creating integrated communications committed to improving lives. And Western Health Advantage, a full-service healthcare plan for individuals, employer groups, and families. Before the episode begins, I want to take a minute to share that we now have a website where you can sign up to get our weekly email updates on the latest episodes, transcripts to prior episodes, and see what else we have going on. Please be sure to register so you never miss an episode or any other important information we may have to share in the nonprofit space. You can find us now at nonprofpod.com. That's nonprofpod.com. You'll also notice on the website a microphone in the lower right-hand corner. By clicking on it, you'll be able to leave me voicemail messages, maybe a question you'd like me to ask our guests, or just a comment on the program. I may even play your message in an upcoming episode. I look forward to more engagement with you as we continue to grow and better serve our nonprofit community. As you've likely noticed, our programs span a variety of nonprofit categories, from social services to community-based organizations and even trade associations, as we want our listeners to recognize the scope of the nonprofit space. Without our nonprofit ecosystem, our communities would look vastly different, and in my opinion, not in a good way. Every episode, every nonprofit story includes a discussion of the funding for that nonprofit and the challenges many have with sustainability. It can seem at times the funding treadmill never stops, never slows down, and you're always chasing the next grant, the next donor, the next event to keep providing the valuable service you provide. In this episode, we're going to turn the page a bit and talk to, yes, a nonprofit that's all about helping nonprofits with planned giving. President Chelsea Fahr is going to help us better understand the value of planned giving and what it is the planned giving forum of Greater Sacramento provides our regional nonprofits. Who's there to help educate, train, and support nonprofit funding from a planned gift perspective? How is this an effective option for philanthropic donors? What about the complexities and tax ramifications, and what professionals should I even be calling on to help? If less time was spent on chasing the necessary funding every year, more time could be spent on the actual mission. That's what we're going to learn a little bit more about in this discussion. Chelsea Fahr, welcome to the Nonprofit Podcast Network.
Thank you, Jeff. Happy to be here.
And excited to have you here because we're going to be talking about something that's not our typical conversation. First and foremost, you have a program that appeals to a little more narrow audience. This is not an opportunity to speak to everybody in the community because it is focused on the nonprofit organization specifically. And planned giving has some specific tenets to it that we're going to discuss because they are significant. And not everybody really understands them. Not everybody really understands what planned giving is. So let's get into that conversation. If you could start me off with what the nature of planned giving really means.
Absolutely. Planned giving is a very important part of the philanthropic space. When we're talking about donors who have nonprofits and causes that they love, a lot of people immediately think about giving dollars now. Planned giving really talks about deferred gifts, gifts that are planned now, but that really don't get into the hands of the nonprofits until later, most of the time after someone has passed away. so they can put together plans to leave a planned gift to their favorite nonprofit. There's many different avenues to do that, which I think we can talk about in a little bit. Certainly most common is naming a nonprofit in your estate plans. It's a simple bequest. And that's what a lot of people do when they're offered the option to make a planned gift.
Hence the planned giving forum to clarify in many cases. It seems straightforward enough, but what does it really mean for either a nonprofit to participate, or why the need for a planned giving forum? Why something that is almost an adjunct to what they do already?
There's so many components for nonprofits to have to think about every day when they're working with donors. They're trying to run their nonprofits, to put their missions out in the community, to run their programs. And if I can back up just for a minute, Jeff, my day job is to work with the Sacramento Region Community Foundation, and that's a big part of what we're doing in the community as well. Is we're partnering with nonprofits, and we're working with donors and stakeholders and nonprofits to create a more just and vibrant region. We invite people to open charitable funds with us. We invest those dollars, whether it's a family or a business or a nonprofit who's giving dollars to us so that it's there for their long-term sustainability in the future. And we charge annual support fees on those funds to help do more work in the community ourselves as a nonprofit, right? We're focused on health equity. We're looking at mental health of youth in Sacramento County, looking at food distributions in Yolo County. So, as a nonprofit ourselves at the foundation, we have the same challenges, right? Where we have our own goals as an organization, and we're trying to invite others to be a part of that with us. And so when I came on board at the foundation, I was immediately invited to be a part of the Planned Giving Forum of Greater Sacramento. It's a separate organization, but it fits so much into the work that I do every day in working with donors and asking them to give gifts and helping them be more strategic with their philanthropic goals. And so an organization like the Planned Giving Forum really serves that particular niche, the planned giving knowledge that nonprofits can take and bring back to their donors, learning what planned giving is and how they can invite donors to be a part of that. Planned giving is ultimately about sustaining nonprofits long into the future and giving the donors the confidence that even after their lifetime, they can still be making an impact for the causes that they love.
Well, in so many different ways with so many different organizations, too, because not everybody has an account through the Community Foundation.
Correct.
Unfortunately, I'm sure. But it does simplify if they should, because you've got the wherewithal and the knowledge and the capacity to manage these things appropriately. We get into the individual nonprofit organizations, and all of a sudden it's a little bit different story. To your point of they're busy trying to run their organization, and they've got a lot of things to deal with in so many different ways that while this is significantly important, it's not necessarily something that's significantly on the top of their priority list every day. And they do need to be aware of it because it's another opportunity for a donor or a philanthropic individual or business to engage with them in a sustaining giving capacity. If I'm looking at it from the perspective of a nonprofit, how does the Planned Giving Forum benefit me?
Planned giving can, I think, be intimidating to a lot of nonprofits. We've talked about how much nonprofits already have on their plate, and implementing a planned giving program just can seem big or almost unattainable sometimes.
It was confusing for me. I went to the Philanthropy Summit and sat through one of the sessions, and I'm like, really? There's so many complexities to it in so many different ways.
Putting together a planned giving program, it needs to be thoughtful. There needs to be intent behind it, and everyone needs to be on board at a nonprofit, staff, board, other volunteers, when you're inviting your donors to be a part of something like that. But I think sometimes what's not realized is just starting that program. It's sometimes as simple as just incorporating that planned giving language into the materials you're already distributing, the newsletters that you're putting out, the conversations you're already having with your donors, putting a little footnote just to start, just to say, and by the way, have you ever considered planned giving? We'd love to talk with you more about that. We'd love to talk with you about considering leading our organization in your estate plans. You've always been such a great supporter. And usually your best planned giving prospects are the people that are already right there with you, your volunteers, your annual donors, and they're going to be open to having that conversation.
Well, and they're coming in year out. They're visiting. They're participating in your events and your activities. So, yeah, that makes a great deal of sense. And to your point, I can see where they could be easily overlooked for the opportunity to engage after they pass, to put them as a part of the estate. Since you are technically an all-volunteer staff, you have a full-time job, as you mentioned, with the Community Foundation, and thank you for all the work you do there. In addition to, you have this volunteer position. You're president of the organization. How many people are on that volunteer board?
Right now, we're a board of 8. I have a phenomenal board. I got to give a big shout out
to
my board.
That's a lot of work for only 8 people.
Yeah, we're volunteer run. We have an excellent admin assistant who's there to support us. But, our board made up of we have vice president and secretary and treasurer officer positions. We have folks who are working on our membership, our marketing, folks who are bringing sponsors in. We also have folks who are working on our DEI Fellows program, something that the Planned Giving Forum implemented a few years back as a way of really shining a spotlight on our diverse colleagues doing diverse work in the community, BIPOC-led and serving nonprofits, and really giving them special access to this planned giving knowledge, bringing them into the philanthropic space and supporting the work that they're doing. So it's a phenomenal group. I've been involved with this board now for, around 7 years. I'm serving as president this year, and I'll do the same next year. But it's been absolutely an honor. We have a great group, and our membership is just so very engaged, and we're looking to continue to grow that and get more people involved, to get more sponsors involved. We also have professional advisors who from time to time attend our programs, Jeff. So while nonprofits certainly are our main audience, we want everybody to feel knowledgeable and welcome within the planned giving space as we learn about this area together.
Tell me how the organization performs. What is it you do to the benefit of the nonprofit and or the advisors, financial advisors who are involved in what you do? What is it that you do that provides value?
Certainly. So we put on several programs every year, usually about 8 to 9 monthly programs. Usually they're luncheon programs, so we invite you to come and have lunch with us and learn about a planned giving topic. Sometimes they're virtual as well. Sometimes webinars can be a little bit more convenient for people. So we're sort of doing a hybrid approach right now with our programming. Some are in person, some are hybrid. And, our topics vary. They're all very planned giving focused. Sometimes they're a little bit broader within the philanthropic space as well. Every couple of years, we try to go back to the basics and we do a Planned Giving 101, which is actually more of a half-day program, but really gets back to what is planned giving, what are the different vehicles for planned giving, how can a nonprofit start or rejuvenate their planned giving program. And so, we have a lot of nonprofits who attend these programs and it made it, determine whether they come based on the topic. Sometimes it's a little broader, sometimes it's a little bit more technical. But really focusing on planned giving, how to talk to your donors, how to market your program, what those different vehicles are. And we bring in some great speakers to talk to us about those as well.
As a nonprofit, and I'm thinking now I need to get this planned giving element of my donation funnel, so to speak, the way I fund my organization, what would you say would be a great first step to get started in the process?
Well, you could certainly reach out to our board at the Planned Giving Forum. Join us. Become a member if you're not already.
I did tee that up a little bit on purpose.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Yeah, well, we welcome more and more members, and we welcome those conversations for how to start those planned giving programs. Like I'd mentioned earlier, I think getting started by running the idea of a planned giving program past your board, past your close-knit volunteers, get a pulse on what that might look like for your organization, starting with the people that are closest to you, and then filtering out from there, talking with your closest donors, figuring out what that planned giving language might look like within the marketing and communication materials that you're already creating. And so I think those can be some great places to start. And the Planned Giving program is here to support those first steps for you.
I have a question for you, and we didn't talk about this in advance, but it's coming up as I'm listening to you speak. What percentage, let's say just of the significant nonprofits in the community, and there's 13,000, let's say the top 5,000, what percentage do you think have a planned giving plan that actually have it built into their...
That's a great question, Jeff. I think it's when you're talking about some of the larger nonprofits in our region and some of the nonprofits whose work expands beyond this region, nationally perhaps. Mm-hmm. I think it can be easier in some cases for them to put together that program. It's a little bit more of a box program. Everybody can immediately get on board. I think it can be more of a challenge for some of our grassroots nonprofits, some of our smaller nonprofits that are in the area that don't have a big staff or who perhaps, like Planned Giving Forum, are entirely volunteer run. I think there's a lot of opportunity for growth within the planned giving space. And trying to make plan giving be less intimidating for some of those smaller nonprofits who would really like to implement that but really don't know where to start.
So just as a guesstimate, it would be more the minority of organizations have a plan giving structure within their organization as opposed to the majority. So there, like you said, there's a lot of opportunity to actually get into it.
Right.
It's the workload I'm going to ask. Is it a lot of work to get it structured and set up? Or is it something that's just a front end, once it's loaded, then it somewhat runs itself?
I don't think it has to be a lot of work. It's certainly something, again, that you want to be thoughtful about. You want to think about how, if you already have a fundraising plan, for example, if you don't, work on a fundraising plan that incorporates all aspects of fundraising, right, including plan giving. But I don't think it has to be a huge lift to get it started. Even if you're just practicing, starting to have some of those conversations and what does plan giving look like? I mean, just learning some of the language behind plan giving. It's a different language in some senses, and talking about the different plan giving vehicles and how people can be a part of that space and put a plan gift into place. And when you start getting familiar with that language, you start getting familiar with talking about it with your donors, with your board members, it can get easier from there. And you can start making it into a more robust program and really having it become a culture at your nonprofit.
As we're talking, more and more questions come to mind as opposed to what we previously discussed. So I'm not going to surprise you with a bunch of them.
That's fine.
But I can only imagine the same thing on the side of a nonprofit as they're sitting there thinking, maybe they're listening to the episode going, oh, okay, well, I do need to do that. I mean, I've got a short-term vision if everything I do is year to year to year to year, by event by event by event by grant. And if I don't have anything that's sustaining me with some long-term planned gifts that are going to be there and or into some sort of endowment, which can fall underneath this same umbrella in some way, shape, or form in its structure, I'm sure, not to mention a comprehension of all the tax liabilities both ways for the nonprofit organization itself and how things and money comes in to the donor or the philanthropic organization that's contributing that money to the planned gift.
Sure.
Does that come up? Is that a part of what planned giving forum provides in some of the sessions? Maybe there's one of your events is based on tax liabilities and proper tax structure and working through the elements from a significant standpoint to where there's real benefits if you do it this way and extreme deterrence, if not penalty in some cases, if you do it wrong.
Absolutely. We've definitely had some programs that have gone in that direction, and there's some areas of plan giving that absolutely need professional advisors to step in. And that's why we do have professional advisors attend our programs occasionally. We welcome them. And nonprofits should be aware of what that looks like. There's a lot of different ways to implement a planned gift, some that have tax liabilities. And while nonprofits should be telling their donors to talk with their tax professionals, their professional advisors, it's good to know how that works and to be able to talk with donors about the different options that they have. And these are the talking points to get used to, right? This is the why behind the plan giving for your donors. That it's not only a way for you to leave a legacy, it's not only a way for you to feel confident that you're going to continue to support the causes that you love, but there can be some great tax benefits behind it and making that easier on your family after you pass away when dollars are going directly to nonprofits.
Well, I can certainly see if Organization A and Organization B serve a particular community that is of interest to a particular donor, and Organization A is really buttoned up on its planned giving and Organization B is not. There's a process there in that conversation that as the donor, I'm going to feel comfortable leaving my wealth in some capacity to the organization that's able to explain it better to me.
Absolutely. And an organization who's able to see their own longevity. Where are we going to be in 5, 10, 20 years? Where do we want to be? And how does your plan gift help us to get there? That's the why for plan giving.
Yeah, I think that right there is from the standpoint of a donor who's looking at love both organizations. Yep. You're wonderful, been contributing for a long time. But if you're coming and giving me a vision of why I should leave a planned gift for you versus the other who is still year to year or maybe couple year to couple year, but the grander vision is saying, here's why we need you to continue in a different capacity and with some detail. What a difference.
Yeah.
What a difference.
Yeah, absolutely.
Finding these plan giving solutions interesting? Are they an opportunity? We'll be back with more right after this from the people who make the program possible. I was in the media business for over 35 years and had the great privilege of working with Runyon Saltzman, RSE, Marketing, Advertising, and Public Relations. We collaborated on many different campaigns, but their commitment to the nonprofit sector hasn't changed since their founder, Gene Runyon, started the agency. Over many years and many campaigns, Runyon Saltzman has been committed to improving lives by tackling California's most challenging issues. Guided by research-informed strategies and insightful, creative solutions, RSE develops innovative communications campaigns that raise awareness, educate, and reduce stigma in diverse communities throughout our state and beyond. To learn more about RSE, visit rs-e.com.
Hello, this is Scott Thomas with Cap Trust in our Sacramento office. I specialize in working with local nonprofits and associations. Annually, we survey private and public nonprofit organizations across the country to better understand challenges they see in today's environment. In our more recent survey, we heard concerns about proper board governance, mission-aligned investment, and how to implement alternative investments. If you would like a copy of the survey or to discuss your organization, look me up, Scott Thomas at captrust.com.
I'm thrilled to have Western Health Advantage partnering with us as they do so much to support so many nonprofit agencies in our community. As a truly local health plan, you'll find individual and family options, employer options, plans for CalPERS and Medicare Advantage. From medical services to pharmacy, health and wellness support, as well as behavioral health care, Western Health Advantage has a plan that fits what you need. As an employer, for profit or nonprofit business, individual or family, you can find more at westernhealth.com. So let's talk about how you're funded. How do you fund the organization? You're all volunteer.
We're all volunteer, so it's our membership fees and it's our generous sponsors. So to be a member of the Plan Giving Forum, it's $75 a year. That gets folks access to our program content. It gets them decreased costs to attend our program. And we're always looking for new sponsors as well. We have many generous sponsors who support the Plan Giving Forum, and they help us sustain our programming, our ability to bring in speakers, to have both in-person and virtual events. And so we're very grateful for that funding. And
I would imagine for the events, there's probably a small fee as well if you're a member and non-member?
Exactly, yes.
Okay.
It's less if you're a member. And, if you're attending more than a few events with us per year, it makes sense to purchase that $75 membership. It'll save you in the long run. And so, we're happy to chat with you more about that. If you're interested in joining, perhaps your nonprofit's willing to invest in that plan giving space and in you as an employee and might cover that fee for you.
Yeah, I'm just going through the math in my head. It would seem $75 is relatively nominal. Mm-hmm. And if you're looking at it from the perspective of what it could yield if it's done properly, I mean, one good gift would offset any of the expense of membership. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So it's well worth it. And we do this math a lot of different times on different things in terms of an investment, but it truly is an investment. And again, I just get back to the complexity of the situation. If you're not playing in the space, you aren't playing. You can't get sustainable and sustaining revenue.
Right. And plan gifts can be transformational. Sometimes they're a surprise, and you can't always guarantee a plan gift is going to be in, but it's not an excuse to not have those conversations and to give, show people that vision, as you mentioned, Jeff, invite them to be a part of that and to start tracking those planned gift commitments that you've gotten from folks.
So collaboration is a little bit different with you in terms of community like it would be with a nonprofit, but you do still collaborate with others. You're a part in some way, shape, or form of the Regional Community Foundation, which is a behemoth in the community in terms of what it provides for our nonprofit ecosystem. Who else might be involved with you to the sense of being collaborators, so to speak?
Sure. Well, I mean, certainly we love working with and getting to know our membership base, the nonprofits that are involved with us, the advisors who attend our programs, the sponsors who see the value.
And by advisors, financial advisors.
Yes, thank you. And financial advisors and our sponsors who really see the value in what we're trying to do. As you said, we're a part of the philanthropic community. There's other wonderful groups out there that are providing education on charitable giving and on philanthropy. Association of Fundraising Professionals is a great example of that. We've done some partnering with them in the past. There's been some cross-collaboration on our board and some of the programs that we've done, looking at the content that we're offering to our members and making sure that we're each providing valuable content. So collaboration is big for us as well.
And I know what triggered the conversation and the outreach was I saw you at the Philanthropy Summit, and I'm thinking this is a part of the greater nonprofit organization system that people do need to be aware of. And the greater the awareness, the more likely the sustainability, as that word just keeps coming up. What are some of the biggest misunderstandings have from the organizations, the nonprofit organizations, as you see it today about planned giving?
Well, I think planned giving can be intimidating. We've talked a little bit about that, Jeff, that starting that program when you're just trying to get those dollars in the door now can feel daunting. But it's taking those small steps, getting everyone on board, committed to incorporating planned giving into the development program at your organization and moving forward with that. It doesn't have to be as scary. I think looking for those organizations who already have done that and have had success, that's another great thing about Planned Giving Forum is we're bringing people together, right? We're bringing people together to learn from each other as well, to talk about their successes in planned giving and what that looks like. So trying to find those mentors, if you will, and Planned Giving Forum can help make those connections. But it doesn't have to be scary. It doesn't have to be intimidating. It's an important part, and you can slowly work it into the work that you're already doing.
I see that sense of urgency that is the day-to-day business.
Yeah.
We're not going to get those donations because we want to make our budget and we're doing well right now. Why stop? But it's just taking that breath to say, okay, you want to be here tomorrow comfortably, more comfortably than you are today. And this is a step in the right direction to get you there because of, that gift is out there. That's coming at this point in time. Or once you start to compile a catalog of those gifts, obviously you can see what the timing is on each and how they fall into place.
Yeah, Jeff. And I do want to be mindful of those grassroots nonprofits that, it's that day-to-day it's tough. There's so many people out there doing great work, just critical missions that lift up the quality of life in our region. And I don't want to make it sound that like you can snap your fingers and have a planned giving program tomorrow. No, it's tough. But reach out to us, reach out to our board, talk to us. And let's think about just those first initial baby steps we can take. And if you think planned giving would be a good match for your organization, we're here for that.
And I can certainly see the benefit of that conversation because you can at least recommend they all know somebody in the financial services sector because they're involved in their organization in some way, shape, or form. They probably know somebody in the legal field. We see a lot of legal elements that can fall into this planned giving when you get into big trusts and estates. And they surely have somebody in the accounting field that they can rely on. So there's your team of consultants right there when you start to gather people that you already have a connection with that are involved in your organization to start moving it toward a planned gift and a process and procedure within. If the organization had no budget and it was whatever you want to do, what would it look like? What would you do with it to benefit the community?
Oh, gosh. We're always looking at potential speakers who can come in and provide great content. If we didn't have a budget, we didn't have to worry about costs or flying people in. I mean, we'd be bringing speakers in from all over to provide a whole variety of content. I think as a group, we'd love to sit down with nonprofits individually and help them create more planned giving plans. That's hard when you're an all-volunteer board, but having no budget, that would really allow us to really boost our content, the value of the content that we're providing, and being able to really push people into this space and support them in that process.
Well, and I like how excited you get about that. You light up, you smile, you get excited about it. And for the benefit of people not watching something on YouTube, I wanted to share that because it gives me a sense of what the opportunities are.
Yeah.
And you're in the space day in and day out, so you understand it. Back to reality with budgets and everything else. What is the greatest need you've got? What would make the organization better on a single thing? If you said, boy, if we could just get to, this is where we are. This is some of the stuff we struggle with.
Gosh, well, we're always looking to grow our member base, and our membership fluctuates like any membership organization, but we're always looking for new members to come in. And we try to get feedback from our members to say, is what we're providing valuable? Are your membership benefits valuable? What other bits of content can we provide that would help you in your organization? So we're always looking to boost membership. And of course, sponsorship is crucial. We try to provide valuable sponsorship benefits as well. Those are available on our website. And so if you know of an organization or individual who would like to be a part of that, we love marketing our sponsors at our programs and really showing our gratitude to them for what they help us do.
Is there something, Chelsea, that you could say there's one thing you see that's a common thread that just keeps coming up all the time from nonprofits that you speak with that is maybe the most recurring issue they deal with when you hear from them?
Well, in terms of the planned giving space, I think it's how to start those conversations with really, at the end of the day, involves talking about death. It's talking about people's mortality and what that would look like afterwards. And I think what I have found in my experience in planned giving is that, as daunting as those conversations can seem, the relief that you see on donors' faces when they realize that piece is taken care of is just huge. It's not something to be embarrassed to talk about or feeling like it's a touchy subject. They love your organization. They're here to talk about it. Get them excited about something that can happen way beyond that maybe they hadn't even considered. But I think those conversations sometimes can seem a little bit scary, but it really is a huge benefit for the people who love what you do.
Oh, sure. I can easily see where you're going to approach Ms. Fahr. I'd like to speak with you about when you're no longer with us.
Yes.
Where it can either be intimidating or exhilarating.
Yes.
Because of your involvement in the organization. It just depends on the perspective. And I'm sure some of that is confidence. And the more confident you are, which would be from attending your seminars and understanding the process of planned giving, could make that conversation so much better.
Yes,
agreed. I can even see a whole role play video of how to do that. What's the best way to get in touch with the organization, to learn about what's going on, where the events are going to be, when they are, et cetera, et cetera?
Come visit our website. You guys have it up here on the screen, which is great. Our website is pgfgsac.org. Planned Giving Forum of Greater Sacramento, pgfgsac.org. And on that website, you can sign up for membership. You can also see what our upcoming events are going to be. You can see our sponsors and what the benefits look like for that. We have a phenomenal admin person as well. Her admin email is on that website, and she is great at responding, getting questions that come up to the appropriate board member. So send us an email, see what programs we have coming up, and we'd love to see you there.
And so let me ask, if I'm not a member, but I have a question, I want to throw it out there, I'll go to the website and I'll just connect or contact.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm struggling with this. Would I get an answer?
Yeah, yes. Well, we'll absolutely answer you. Yes, we tend to reserve some more of those deeper dive conversations for our members.
Sure. But
if you're wanting to learn more about us and about how our program might be able to assist you with your programs, yes, we'd love to chat with you about that.
If nothing else, once that relationship starts, why would I not participate?
Absolutely.
You've been so helpful to me as the organization. Boy, $75 a year, that's kind of a no-brainer from my perspective at this end of the microphone.
That's the hope. That's the hope, yeah.
Chelsea, I am so pleased we had the opportunity to talk, because it's such a significant piece of any nonprofit, and not knowing what that percentage is, but assuming it's probably less than more of people who really do have a structured, planned giving platform within their organization, and the access to people who can help and support them with all the nuance of what happens in that system by donor, the complexities, and I'm sure some can get really complex and some can be fairly simple. And knowing how to ask. You just did a beautiful job of sharing what needs to happen in terms of getting it set up and structured, and that there is an outlet. It's the Planned Giving Forum of Greater Sacramento to really help identify that. And I'm sure some of that even circles back into the Community Foundation, as well as those advisors who are participating and the community at large. Other organizations have huge planned giving processes and procedures. If you're one of those smaller organizations that we were talking about, you can speak with them through this forum.
Yes.
I mean, forum means we talk about this. And I'm hoping more people now recognize that there's an opportunity for them, if not because of the conversation, because they were exposed to it at the Philanthropy Summit, because they've seen it through the Community Foundation, and or because another organization shares it with another organization. So thank you for coming in and talking to us about it in such simple ways that doesn't overwhelm. We'll let that happen when we get into the details and the nitty-gritty of it all.
Thank you, Jeff, for having me. I appreciate it.
Thanks. Thank you for listening to the Nonprofit Podcast Network. I hope you enjoyed the episode. If what you heard moved you, please reach out to that organization and do what you can to help. If you like and appreciate what we're doing to support local nonprofits, please give us a positive review, subscribe, and share. If you're a nonprofit with an interest in participating in an episode, you can reach me at jeff@hearmenowstudio.com. If you have a need for the services or products our sponsors offer, please reach out to them. CapTrust, fiduciary advice for endowments and foundations. Runyon Saltzman Incorporated, RSC, marketing, advertising, and public relations, creating integrated communications committed to improving lives. And Western Health Advantage, a full-service healthcare plan for individuals, employer groups, and families. The Nonprofit Podcast Network is a production of, is recorded at, and edited by Hear Me Now Studio.